Congratulations, you've made it this far. This is Final Fantasy IX Know the Facts Part 3, where we look at all of the things you probably didn't know about the game. Let me know which facts you liked the most, or if there's anything interesting that I missed. You can also check out the other parts at the end of this video. Let's go. Have you ever wondered why Square decided to throw in the useless Southern Tropical outfits? I mean, they have the worst defense in the game, and they teach no abilities at all. Well, the reason behind this is that a large portion of FF9 was developed at the Square USA branch in Honolulu, Hawaii. And for the record, this branch no longer exists, which is a shame because making video games in freaking Hawaii seems pretty damn amazing. Here's another reference to Hawaii that you may not have noticed. The name Tantalus is also the name of a large volcanic crater in the Ku-a-Lau range overlooking Honolulu. Vivi may just well be the most iconic character in Final Fantasy IX. I just can't help but love that adorable little black mage. One thing about FF9 that has always stuck with me is the opening quotes. It was a brilliant way to begin an epic game. I found it particularly interesting that the developers altered Vivi's trademark line from the Japanese version. How do you prove that you exist? Maybe we don't exist. This was changed from the Japanese version. It was originally, if you can't show proof that you're living, it may as well be the same thing as being dead. And for those of you who owned the original PS1 version of FF Origins, you may have noticed that the instruction manual has Vivi as the example name chosen for the Black Mage class of Final Fantasy I. Also, Rosa, Sabin, and Cloud are the sample names for the other three characters. If you're a Trekkie, you may know this one. When you talk to the man near the air cab station, he'll say, "Damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a miracle worker." This may seem strange, but it's actually a reference to Star Trek. Dr. Leonard McCoy from the show, as well as various other characters, says this line on many occasions.
Damn it, Jim, what the hell's the matter with you?
What am I, a doctor or a moon shuttle conductor?
I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer.
I'm a doctor, not an escalator. No, I'm a doctor, not a mechanic.
I'm a doctor, not an engineer.
Final Fantasy games are well known for having incredible music. This is largely due to the genius who is Nobuo Uematsu. Did you know that it took this legend nearly an entire year to finish composing the music for FF9, which was quite a bit longer than the other FF games? During this time, he actually took a couple of weeks off work to travel to old European castles, as this medieval style was a great inspiration to his soundtrack. Uematsu initially composed around 160 tracks, but this was deemed too large as it would have required 6 CDs to release. As a result, many of the tracks he composed ended up not being used at all. One particularly awesome track is the one playing right now. This track was originally going to be played on the world map. Uematsu really liked this track, but it wasn't used because they didn't feel it was suitable. Nobuo Uematsu also named Melodies of Life as his favourite track on the album, and I can agree with that one. What was your favourite track from the game? Let me know in the comments. William Shakespeare. Yeah, he's a pretty well-known fella. This famous playwright is actually referenced quite a lot in Final Fantasy IX. Remember Puck? Well, he's named after a character in Shakespeare's play A Midsummer Night's Dream. The play I Want to Be Your Canary shares some similarities to a couple of Shakespeare's famous plays, King Lear and Romeo and Juliet. The story itself draws some similarities, with Marcus in love with Cornelia, who was the daughter of his enemy King Leo. In the end, both Cornelia and Marcus end up dying for their love. What's also worth noting is that in the original Japanese version, the king in I Want to Be Your Canary is named King Lear, not King Leo. Next, the princess in I Want to Be Your Canary is named Cornelia, which is a reference to the character called Delia from King Lear. They probably had this slight change in name to also reference a location from the original Final Fantasy. In the Japanese version, the name of the play is I Want to Be Your Bird. This is a reference to the line from Romeo and Juliet in which Romeo says to Juliet, "I would I were thy bird." And finally, the author of I Want to Be Your Canary is named Lord Avon. This refers to Shakespeare's birthplace, Stratford-upon-Avon. When exploring Lindblum Castle, you may have noticed that when you examine a certain statue, the game will respond with, "There's no place to put that medal." This is confusing because there's no medal that can even be found that relates to this. So then, why did Square bother to put in this seemingly pointless text box? It's actually a reference to Resident Evil 2, where you have to put a medal into a fountain statue. Here, a similar message occurs if you examine the wrong statue. Ending boss spoiler alert. Necron just kinda popped up as the final boss of Final Fantasy IX, but did you know that Hades was originally planned to be the final boss, but he of course ended up being an optional boss. Take a look at this concept art. Here we can see the final battle where the party is fighting Hades instead of Necron. Take note of Hades, who appears to have an eye within his sword and numerous other eyes peering from his throne. This eye motif matches the blinking eyes on the interior walls where Necron is fought in the final game. The developers did state in an interview that the ending of FF9 was changed a whopping 7 times. I really wish they would have released more details regarding these initial drafts. As you would expect, there was quite a bit cut from the final version of Final Fantasy IX. Firstly, there's an animated pre-rendered background for one of the hallways of Lindblum Castle. For some reason, it shows a set of stairs moving just like an escalator, but why was this originally a thing and why was it taken out? We'll never know. Here's another one for you. In Disc 3, when you return to Alexandria, there was originally going to be a balloon-related minigame. It featured a group of 3 girls holding balloons near the ticket stand from the beginning of the game. The idea was that you would have to find the balloon girls on the screen that you're in, then take the balloons back to the little boys standing where the game started. This minigame still exists in the game's data, so they probably just removed it at the last minute. This was Hellfire RPGs, thanks for watching. Which facts did you like the most? Let me know in the comments. If you liked this, hit the thumbs up and feel free to subscribe for more RPG videos. See you next time.